Hi, everyone. So I'm going to be reacting to this interview of Amanda Knox with Gwyneth Paltrow. Just as a reminder, please go to truejustice.org, truejustice.org, to get the truth about the murder of Meredith Kercher. As you're certainly not going to get it from Amanda Knox or Gwyneth Paltrow, that's for sure. And there's also the murder of Meredith Kercher.net, which has all sources where you can find the original email that Amanda Knox sent out to everyone a few days after the murder. Because it was quite apparent, even just days after the murder. All right, so this is real quick. In the very beginning, uh, right after the murder, Amanda was told you can't talk to the press, right? Because you're a person of known of the facts, however they phrased it. So what Amanda did was she sent an email to like 100 different people, or maybe it was like 20, whatever. Might as well have been 100 people she didn't even know, like officials at her school, like random people, and whoever she had in her address book. So she sends this email out and goes through everything she knows, or actually not what she knew, her story, her narrative. So right from the very beginning, right after Meredith Kercher, her body, Meredith Kercher's body wasn't even cold yet, and Amanda Knox was trying to get control of the media. She so badly wanted to get out there and tell her story. I mean, right after the murder, she was desperate to do this. And so here we are 20 years later, right? Meredith Kercher was murdered in 2007. So it's almost 20 years. And here we are. Amanda Knox is still doing it. Now she has her like fifth or sixth movie out now on Hulu. You do have to pay for it, which I'm not doing. I will not contribute a penny to this murderess or whoever supports her. So I'm not going to be watching it unless it goes out for free somewhere. Maybe YouTube will run it with ads. I don't know. But again, it's the same lies, Amanda Knox's version of events. So that's why I think that she's on here with Gwyneth Paltrow to push her movie, because apparently it's like a weekly thing on Hulu. It's like a new show comes out every week or two. So it's going on for a couple of months or a few months. So it's not just one video for her movie. It's multiple series. I mean, they made a whole series out of it. It's just ridiculous. Why Amanda Knox? One of the mysteries is why does the mainstream media support her so much? I mean, yes, she hired a PR firm, but why is a PR firm pushing her so much? Why? I guess because it's clickbait is all I can think. But it's really just evil AF. So here we go. As of course, Gwyneth Paltrow would be interviewing her naturally. So here we go. I'm just gonna go through and react to it.
If it's difficult, like I'm just sorry that, at the
Oh,
same time that I don't know if it's re-traumatizing to have to talk about this stuff or how you.
yeah, I hear where you're coming from with that. But like from the very beginning, it felt like no one cared what the truth was and no one cared what I had to say.
No one cared what the truth was. Hello? How many journalists, how many books have been written, how many investigators have been on this? Well, what she really is saying is nobody cared what I had to say. That's what really bothered her.
And, it's interesting that you're right that in a very big way, my voice and my story is being platformed right now. Um, and it's
Right now, it has been for the past 20 years.
surreal to me because even after, the courts eventually vindicated me and freed me,
They didn't vindicate you. You're not vindicated. You were charged. Your charge for falsely accusing a black man, Patrick Lumumba, was held up and is still to this day. Amanda Knox tried to have it overturned, but she couldn't because she did it, and she only got away because of a crooked court allowed her. After she was found guilty initially, and then she was found guilty in the third trial because I'm not going to go through the whole system in Italy. You get multiple trials. So the first and the third, she was found guilty. She should have been found guilty in the final, but then the final decision, there was some corruption going on. They flipped it on Judge Nancini. But Amanda Knox is walking around like she was vindicated. Nothing vindicated her. She's as guilty as she was then. The evidence all points to her guilt. And even in the final report of the crooked judges at the end, they admitted, oh yeah, Amanda Knox washed Meredith Kercher's blood from her hands, but we just can't prove that she did the stabbing. That was the thought process of the judges of the final determination. She was there. Yeah, she had Meredith's blood on her hands. But, we really can't say for sure that she did it. I mean, that alone isn't enough for her to have been convicted and still be in prison. But anyways, here we go.
It's not like the world was then like, yay, Amanda. It was I very much felt.
Are you kidding me? It was yay Amanda all over. She was on every morning show. She was on The View. She was platformed on Good Morning America multiple times. It was always yay Amanda. Amanda Knox went on tour, charging people hundreds of dollars to listen to her speak. I mean, my goodness. And now she's going to sit here and be like, oh, poor me. Nobody was yay Amanda. I didn't make enough millions. I only made 20 million. I should have gotten 200 million. 20 million that she made from the murder of Meredith is just not enough for Amanda. It wasn't a big enough yay.
Buried underneath this story that was made up by other people. And the messaging that I received was, okay, so you're not the villain that we made you out to be, but the thing you really need to do is shut up and disappear.
No, you are the villain you're made out to be, but yes, you should shut up and disappear. That would be nice.
Like, okay, you came from nothing, you blipped on our radar, we're still sort of holding it against you, be buried. Mm-hmm. And I fought so hard.
We know you're guilty. We know you did it. And the mainstream media is complicit and should be charged with crimes against humanity for this and so many other things.
Hard for so long to just to be heard.
Yeah.
And
she's still ranting and raving. She's not being heard. She's been heard since a day after the murder when she wrote all these people an email. And her freaking book is waiting to be heard. And now she's still here 20 years later. I'm still waiting to be heard. I mean, this woman is so psycho and repetitive. Ugh.
And to be in a position now where I really am feeling supported and recognized, I do not take.
You shouldn't be supported or recognized. You should go away and disappear.
That lightly. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for people.
I look at Gwyneth trying to look intellectual over here with her Keith Raniere glasses.
Going out of their way to tell me that my voice does matter. And it starts with my husband, who's also executive producer on this show. But
so Amanda Knox brings up her husband, who has from the beginning. Now he's producing this movie. What a coincidence. So it's becoming a family affair. It's becoming a family business now. So it went from Amanda Knox getting millions in donations and doing her tours, speaking everywhere. Now her and her husband are making a production, basically, company here based on her and her story. And so it's just gotten, and her husband is just as bad as her, doing this, milking this for attention and producing this movie. I mean, it's really, the way she just drags this on and turns the murder she committed into a business is just so evil. I don't think there's any murderer who has been this evil. No, most murderers go away, but of course, not Amanda Knox, because I think she's just so evil and heartless and psychopath.
Starts with my husband, who's also executive producer on this show. But back when he met me, I was in hiding. I was not I didn't go to book readings because I was afraid I would get recognized. I lived for years.
She's lying.
Just not going to public places, or if I did, I just kept my head low and I didn't talk to
But she was always on People magazine covers.
Anybody, and I didn't make friends because I just didn't feel like I belonged to humanity anymore. I felt ostracized. I felt exiled.
Wow.
And
do you feel like you sort of had embodied this shame that was given to you that wasn't yours?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, again, all of this happened when I was very young, right? And
that was such a staged response from Gwyneth. Did you feel that you were embodied with this shame that you didn't deserve? Yeah, that's another one of the PR lines that Amanda's been, shoving around since day one, complaining that she had a red letter on her chest and all this nonsense. So this whole thing is so scripted, so pathetic.
I was processing trauma on top of trauma, right? It all
So, and this has been going on for 20 years now. Whenever Amanda, who's done hundreds of interviews on television, she never answers to the evidence, never answers questions. It's always softball questions. And she's trying, at one point, she was trying to get into politics, and she may still do that in the future. So look out. We have to deal with this murder in an official capacity.
It all begins with, two young women from different parts of the world who come together in this beautiful little town in the green heart of Italy, and only one of them survives. Boom.
Right.
One huge trauma.
And
that
you're
I'm
how
having
old
to,
when this happened?
I was
For her, that's the story. And the story is the murder of Meredith Kercher. You're just the murderer. So you didn't come together. You never came together.
20. I was 20 years old. And then
Oh my God! It's just like Meghan Markle with. I was 11 years old when I saw a commercial. Oh, please! A lot of 20-year-olds murder people,
and 5 days later, I'm still like in shock.
especially when they're on cocaine and other drugs, which Amanda Knox was. She had cocaine dealers' numbers on her phone.
I haven't even gotten past, the first stage of grief, which is like denial and shock. And then I'm thrown into a prison cell and accused of having masterminded a death orgy.
I can't.
And then I'm like, okay, and then I'm surviving.
That was never the accusation. It was jealousy because Giacomo Salenzi loved Meredith and didn't like Amanda. So it started with that. And as Dr. Hodges goes through Amanda Knox's childhood traumas that led her to the murder.
Surviving years of prison, which itself is a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
So it's just been trauma on top of trauma that it's taken me years to sort of unravel what is this. And so when I first came home,
But she never gets therapy. I remember early on they were asking, because she's been talking about having PTSD since day one. And so people asked, well, have you gone to therapy? No, me and my mom are doing this therapy thing together. So she keeps harping on how she has PTSD, but she never wants to talk to a psychologist because they'll diagnose her rightfully as a narcissist psychopath, in my opinion.
absolutely, I'm looking to the world for guidance on how I'm supposed to process this traumatic experience. And what the world was telling me was, you're not a victim, shut up and disappear.
Wow.
Yes, that is it. You're not a victim. You are the perpetrator. Shut up and disappear. And see, she brings this up all the time too, and this is why she doesn't go away. See, so you're seeing her aggressiveness, how pushy she is, and you can see how she was with Meredith Kercher. See, she knows that we know she's guilty. Those of us who've studied this case, we know it without a doubt. She was found guilty twice for a reason. The evidence is there. The judges found it. The juries found it. Everyone sees it. And yet she's saying, F you, I'm going to come out again and again and again. So you see this passive aggressive, but very aggressive woman, very diabolical, just evil woman who won't shut up. She's just evilly saying, you want me to shut up? I'm going to come out more. Yeah, she's a really evil woman.
And so, of course, any raw grief feelings that I have for the life that I could have lived or for my own pain that I've gone.
See, her only grief feelings are the life she could have lived and her own pain. She never mentions Meredith. I don't think she said Meredith Kercher once throughout this interview, and I won't be surprised if she doesn't say her name at all throughout this. And this is a repeated theme. She never brings up Meredith. She never has any pain or suffering for her. It's always me, 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 me. Me, me, says the narc.
Through, I'm just experiencing rejection after rejection, and I felt buried.
Can we go back to the beginning for a minute? Because
Yeah.
I just want to understand. So you grew up in Seattle or in Washington somewhere?
Yeah,
Right.
Seattle, Washington.
You grew up
yeah.
in Seattle. You're on your junior year abroad. Mm-hmm. This is like my daughter's age.
Her junior year abroad, but she was not part of an exchange program. She was partying, doing a lot of drugs, and she just went to Italy on her own without a structured program at all, no supervision. She was there randomly on her own, wandering around and taking a class at a local school that had nothing to do with her university.
You know,
Yeah.
roughly. And you move into this apartment. You're sort of like full of optimism and excitement, and you're moving into your cottage and you have a roommate. And how long, so you were establishing your life there, you were starting classes. How long into your junior year abroad did this happen?
So I was there in Perugia for 5 weeks, I believe.
That's it.
Yeah. So I was still like getting settled, I was still figuring out how to say, where is the biblioteca? Like and it was a magical experience. Like I have to say, like everything up to the tremendous, horrible tragedy that happened was beautiful. Like
Yeah, the tragedy was the murder of Meredith Kercher. Can you even say it?
I was meeting lots of other students. I was, going out and drinking wine and having pizza with, and going and seeing live music. And there was the flea
Having pizza with, stop short, Meredith and her friends who rejected her later on because she's obnoxious.
market, and there was the chocolate festival, and and I'm living with these three beautiful young women.
Can we talk about the chocolate festival just for a second? Because there's a video. This is another heinous, evil thing that this woman did. Well, she had a video of Meredith that she took. I believe it was at the chocolate festival or around that time. And nobody had ever seen this video clip. It never came out in evidence. Like everything came out. But I forget how many years later the Netflix was when she did her Netflix movie. They put that video that Amanda had taken of Meredith that had never been seen before by anyone, not by her family, not by anyone. It's like she held onto it for a movie. She knew she was going to get movie rights in a few years. I mean, so calculated this whole thing is. And again, that's another thing you'll never hear her be confronted by in an interview or anything.
One of whom is a foreign exchange student like me, and the other two are Italians. And so I'm just
I think she's alluding to Meredith being a foreign exchange student like me. Again, she's not saying her name, but she was not like her because Meredith was part of a prestigious Erasmus honor program with the University of Perugia. So she was, doing very well and very scholastic. Whereas Amanda was not with a program. She was not with her university. She was there on her own and just taking a class at a local college. So it was not. She's trying to make it seem like they were both doing the same thing and they were both the same, but they weren't. Very different.
just feeling really like welcomed and homed and embraced, and it's a beautiful experience. And then I meet my boyfriend, Raffaele, at this classical music concert. So everything is going the way that you would hope.
Her boyfriend, quote unquote, they hooked up, they slept together the same night, whatever, but they were only together for a week before the murder happened. So, I mean, if you're hanging out and shagging and doing drugs as well with someone for a week and then end up murdering your roommate, I mean, I think calling him a boyfriend's a bit of a stretch.
Hope your study abroad experience would
dreamy.
go. Dreamy. And I'm on like the mentality that I was in when I came home to discover this crime scene was like it was a special long weekend. So, I mean, I don't
Her mentality when she came home and found the crime scene, she never once says when Meredith Kercher was murdered. A normal person, she can never be normal. We know that. We know she's guilty. But it's never, oh my God, I couldn't believe when I found out what happened to my friend, blah, blah, blah. Never. It's always, and when I came home and I was with my boyfriend and when I found the crime scene, blah, blah, me. Ugh.
I don't know if you've been in town or in the area around that time of year, but like it's a special celebration. People do a long weekend to celebrate the days following Halloween because they're really traditional holidays in Italy. And so everyone made plans to go either visit their families or to go out of town. And Raffaele, my new boyfriend of
And conveniently, Meredith was murdered when everyone was out of town but her, and she was alone in the house. And Amanda was pretty much the only person who knew this.
a week had made this plan that we would go to Gubbio, which is nearby, and like enjoy truffles. He was just trying to be this like very gracious host to me. And so my plan that morning was to just go home, take a shower, get dressed into something pretty, because I'm on this like romantic adventure, and go off to Gubbio. And instead I find a crime scene.
Again, I was about to go on this trip, and now she has a new twist. I was going to put something pretty for my week-old boyfriend, and I came home to this crime scene. Well, first of all, the story she tells As she came home, she just found a few speckles of blood. She didn't think anything of it. She didn't know where Meredith was. Oh, well. It wasn't a crime scene at first, was it? According to her lies.
When you saw that?
The fortunate thing is I only saw the sort of, like, say the crime scene is like the, ground zero. I only saw the outer, I did not see ground zero with my own eyes. I saw the outer ring of it, right? So I came home and found things amiss in my house, right?
She didn't see ground zero. I mean, she's going so out of her way not to mention Meredith Kercher's name. All she has to say is, I didn't see Meredith. No, I didn't see ground zero. You see how she's always avoiding saying her name?
Like the front door was open. There was a little bit of speckling of blood in my bathroom. And like,
there was a footprint-sized blood stain in Raphael Sledgeto's foot on the bath mat. Just a few speckles of blood.
As I was coming home, again, like I'm thinking I'm going off on this romantic trip. I just need to get changed, get my stuff, blah, blah, blah. I come home and I think, that's weird. Why is the front door open? There's no one here. But then I think, well, maybe someone forgot to lock the door. It maybe, you're not thinking worst case scenario. No, I'm just thinking, oh, that's weird. The front door's open. And I go in the bathroom, like,
okay, Gwyneth Paltrow is really annoying. No. Oh, yes. I mean, why is Gwyneth even there? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's weird. Why is there blood drops? And I initially thought, oh, I had just recently pierced my ears, and I was like, are my ears bleeding? But no, it's okay, weird. Well, I guess we're all girls here. Occasionally stuff like that comes up, so whatever, it's fine. So I take a shower, get changed, and then I notice that
I can see Gwyneth's pain in this. Can you see Gwyneth is just like, Gwyneth Paltrow is like, I'm just dying. She's dying listening to this. Like, oh, yeah, I know. Gwyneth is like, oh my God, is it over yet? Is she shutting up yet?
There are 2 bathrooms in our apartment, and I go into the second bathroom to blow dry my hair. That's where the blow dryer is. And I notice that someone has left feces in the toilet. And that was the first moment that I got chills, because I was like,
yeah, it wasn't the blood or the footprint in blood on the mat. Her first chills came from crap in the toilet. Yeah, there you go. From her accomplice that she knew left it.
Like, that wasn't explainable to me. That was a stranger has been in the house. And I immediately was like,
yeah, blood in the bathroom. That's perfectly explainable. But crap in the toilet? That is unexplainable. A stranger's been here.
Oh no. And I went back to Raffaele and I was like, what do I do? And he was like, well, hold on. Like, you don't know, like, call your roommates, like, see if something is going on. And so I try calling them, and I can't get a hold of 2 of them, Meredith and Laura. I finally get a hold of Filomena. I tell her, this is weird. Were you at the house?
And by the way, you never hear from Laura or Filomena because they know Knox is guilty. And so they're laying low and not saying anything, but they're certainly not supporting her. And you know that Amanda Knox and her PR tried to shake them down. And the guy that Giacomo Silenzi, that Amanda was in love with, that dated Meredith, he came out and said that right from the beginning, he knew Amanda Knox did this murder, that she murdered Meredith Kercher. Amanda Knox can't even say her name.
House last night, do you know what's going on? And she says, no, but that is weird. Let's meet back out the house and check it out. And she's farther away than me, so I get there first. Me and Raffaele go back into the house together, and we poke around more thoroughly. Like, when I initially went to the house, I just went into my space. I went into my bedroom, I went into my bathroom, and then just blew dry my hair in the second bathroom.
Oh, my room and my bathroom. Actually, the bathroom was yours and Meredith's. Wasn't your bathroom. Narcissist, extension of self, just saying.
But this time I start looking in my other roommate's rooms. So I go to Laura's room, perfect, untouched, as if nothing happened. I go into Filomena's room, and it's ransacked. The window is broken. Clearly there's been a break-in. And immediately I tell my boyfriend, can you please call the cops? Because
here we go with the 10-pound rock that is impossible to throw into a 2-story window. And that's another part of this ridiculous story that her and Raphael tell. Oh my, she really thinks she's getting away with this.
I don't even know how to call the cops in Italy.
Right.
So he's on the phone, and I then go to Meredith's room.
And then when he was on the phone, if you listen to the recording, Raphael told the police there's been a break-in, and the police said, well, what was stolen? And Raphael said nothing was stolen. It's just things moved around. So he knew for a fact nothing was stolen, and he doesn't even live there. Another piece of evidence that's showing how they did it.
To try to see if anything's wrong in there. And I can't open her door. It's been locked, which is weird because, sure, Meredith has locked her door in the past a couple times, but it was always when she was inside the room, not when she was gone. And she is not answering when I am banging on her door. And I immediately think something is wrong.
So at this point, everybody's saying, well, why didn't you call her on her cell phone? And she did call her the cell phone, but the thing is they made sure to throw Meredith's cell phones over a cliff, which was later found by a neighbor down there. But normally that would be the first thing a young person would do. They find the door open and blood in the bathroom. They'd be banging on the door and calling the roommate on the phone. But no, she did not do that.
I don't know what is wrong, but something is wrong. So I ask Raffaele to try to break down the door. He tries kicking it down. He can't do it. So we decide.
And this is another fallacy because the door is very flimsy. And when Laura arrived with her boyfriend, they quickly and easily kicked the door open. So it shows that she's lying. They never even tried to kick the door open. It's all part of her little story here. She wanted somebody else to find the body, Meredith Kercher's body.
Decide to wait for the police to arrive. And they do. But they're not the police that we called. They are police who arrive who are completely separate entities. So as you know, in Italy, there are two completely separate entities.
Now we have to go with the postal police versus the carabinieri.
Of police. There's the carabinieri and there's the polizia postale. Raffaele called the carabinieri. That's actually the same police that his sister works for, the carabinieri. And so he called them and explained the situation, and they had some people coming. But in the meantime, this other police entity, the polizia postale, had discovered these cell phones that were, these cell phones.
I don't know why she just doesn't say postal police. She's giving an interview in English and she's going to show off her Italian, I guess, not say postal police. And look at these ugly tattoos on her arms. And by the way, the tattoo on her shoulder is for her and her sisters. They put four squares, and the first square she's blocked because she's the firstborn. And then she's got her other sister, and then her two stepsisters there. So showing their allegiance to each other.
Were discovered, and they show up.
And how do they know to show up to the house?
Because one of the SIM cards belonged to Filomena Romanelli, one of our roommates.
Okay.
So they're saying, we're looking for Filomena Romanelli. They're not saying we're looking for Meredith. They're looking for Filomena. And I was like, well.
So Amanda forgot to tell the story of the phones being found by the neighbor, and then they looked at the SIM and returned it to the postal police, and they found the SIM card. She's going to skip that part. She's been telling this story so much.
That doesn't make any sense because I just talked to Filomena on the phone. I don't understand why her phone would be missing. And so I'm like, but we called you about a break-in. I don't know anything about any phones, but like there's been a break-in. And they're like, what are you talking about? And we're like, what are you talking about? We just talked to you on the phone. And there's this like confusion from the get-go of
and you're doing this in Italian?
Yes. And thankfully Raffaele.
Raphael was doing it in Italian.
Was there to help explain, but I'm attempting to talk to people. I am not at all fluent in Italian, and I'm trying to communicate, trying to understand, and it's complete and utter chaos.
Yeah.
Finally, they come into the house. They check things out. Filomena comes home. She has her boyfriend with her, and her boyfriend was the one who eventually broke in Meredith's store, and they discover her body. I did not see it, because I was still busy talking to the police officers and, trying to respond.
So here she's saying she didn't see the body, right? But then later on, when she brought to the police station, she's sitting with Meredith's friends. She tells their friends, oh, she was cut in the neck and it was brutal. She bled to death. So yeah, another piece of evidence showing that she was involved.
On and navigate the situation. But she saw into her room, saw ground zero, where my friend, my roommate, fought for her life and was sexually assaulted and stabbed to death.
She saw ground zero. She cannot say Meredith's name. She cannot say Meredith Kercher's name. She will not say it. It's not that she can't say it. This witch knows that everybody knows she's guilty and wants her to just go away and shut up, at least if she's not going to be found, sent to prison rightfully. So now she refuses to say Meredith Kercher's name. This is intentional and it's malicious and evil as she is.
And flipped out.
Oh my gosh.
And then everyone starts screaming in Italian. And I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So we're just like rushed out of the house, and I'm like picking up words here and there. And Philomena's hysterical. One of my other roommates is not there. We can't get a hold of Meredith.
That's another thing. Like, she keeps harping on how hysterical Philomena was. Like, basically insulting her in her book and whatnot. Like, oh my God, she was so hysterical. It's like, calm down. It's just a dead body that I murdered. What's your problem, right? I mean, you can see how callous and calculated she is about the whole thing.
And they're saying, I hear there's a foot and blood in her room. And I'm like, what do you mean a foot? Like a disembodied foot? Like what happened? What is going on? And it isn't until like hours later that I actually get all of the information about, like, yes, there is a body. Yes, it is Meredith. Yes, she was stabbed to death. Like, I don't know this. Like, I'm getting bits and pieces.
She finally says her name for the first time.
For hours. And I think one of the things that's misunderstood that this series that we've produced really tries to like correct for is like, it's really easy in retrospect to look back on people and see footage of them and just assume that they have all the information and then judge them based upon your assumption that they have all the information. But like, at that moment when I'm standing outside of my house and my boyfriend is trying to comfort me and
so now she's trying to, diminish the video of her kissing her boyfriend right after Meredith Kercher's body was found. Right? Another really disturbing aspect of this.
Trying to figure out what even anyone is saying. Like, I didn't know what was going on. And so when I'm judged for kissing my boyfriend, he kissed me to comfort me, I'm just like in shock. You can even see the footage, like it's been out there. Like, I'm just sort of like staring.
And the footage shows that she initiated the kissing, but whatever.
Like this, like a deer in headlights into space. And he's just like, hey, look at me. Look at me. And then he gives me a kiss. Like that, just that was seen as proof of my guilt.
That's so
like, it's nuts. And like, so something.
Gwyneth is really stretching her acting skills here. I think she's going for an Emmy or something.
That we're really trying to like show in the series is like these tragedies that happen.
What we're trying to show in our series, just like I said, this is all about pushing her Hulu series.
They like hit people like a train. They're, you're just going on your life thinking you have the best thing going on, and then this huge thing happens to you, and you don't know. Like, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how to react.
This huge thing happens to you. I think it happened to Meredith Kercher. Wow, she is just so distorted.
I was 20 years old.
And in a foreign
country, trying to piece together and never having had anything remotely to the level of like gravity of the situation. Like nothing bad had ever happened to me in my life. And then this happened.
Oh, really? Maybe a parent is separating and getting kicked out of your room when your stepsisters were born.
And then
and she got a police ticket for an out-of-control party right before she left for Perugia when she was still in Seattle.
Like, in the days that I'm trying to process this, this sudden loss and shock in my life, I'm also being interrogated by police officers.
Sometimes I think people arrive at narratives, true or false, and then they do everything they can to find every shred of evidence to support their narrative. Well,
hello, that's called a murder investigation. And again, another artificial prompt here. Sometimes people have these narratives and they just try to find evidence. Well, that's what you do in a murder investigation. You look at the evidence and it points to the narrative of this woman being guilty AF.
Was the evidence that they started to follow that could have led them to assume your guilt?
I mean, isn't that the burning question that
I
has
don't
haunted
get
me
it.
my entire
Yeah.
life? Yeah. And you
What? I don't get it. Oh my God. Can you believe that evidence? Oh, yeah.
know, it's that haunted question of like why did the cops take one look at a 20-year-old kid with no motive and no precedent and think there's my rapist and murderer?
Right.
What? She is so lying here. Never happened. That's not how it panned out. It was all the evidence of your bloody footprints and the blood on your hands, which is in the final report. And you and Raphael Sledgeto's DNA on the bra clasp of Meredith's. And the fact that you knew what was in the room when you claim you didn't see it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's overwhelming evidence of her guilt. But of course, none of these people, Gwyneth Paltrow, anyone else, anyone interviewing her, no one knows the facts of this case and just pushing her lies 20 years. And another little gripe I have to make about Gwyneth Paltrow is why is her shirt unbuttoned to her belly button? I mean, I know she's an actress and she's going to try to steal attention, but Meghan Markle does the same thing. They're two middle-aged women and they're always unbuttoning their shirts to their belly buttons. It's like, give it a rest. You're middle-aged, act your age, not your IQ. It's just really, it's this whole thing is just sleazy and disgusting.
Like why?
Right.
Why would you pursue that case? And it haunts.
So her PR narrative is, oh, it wasn't all this overwhelming hundreds of pieces of evidence. And of course, this is how she avoids addressing the evidence or trying to explain it because she can't explain it away. So her reaction is to come up with a new narrative of, they just looked at me and said this 20-year-old girl did it, that just by looking at me. I mean, and people buy this? Do people really buy this narrative? I mean, you gotta look at the evidence.
Haunted me for years. Why would they? Why me? And that's
Why you? Because you did it.
a big reason why I went back to Italy to confront my prosecutor, which is like, the framing narrative of this.
Again, you see this aggressiveness, right? If she were so innocent, why is she going back to confront the prosecutor? Poor man who's just doing his job, right? So, I mean, you see this pathological rage and anger and aggressiveness from this woman. She is a very dangerous woman.
This series, but like one of the things that we were really invested in when we were producing this was, well, what was it like to be in the shoes of the investigators really, really early on?
That's what I wanted to ask you.
See, that's another thing is murderers and other criminals, what they want very often right after a crime has occurred, a murder, like the murder of Meredith Kercher, the guilty criminals usually, not usually, but not very often you will find them at the crime scene trying to follow the investigators and quote unquote help them because they want to know what they know and in order to come up with their own story to avoid the evidence. So that's why I think she's so consumed with knowing, well, what were the investigators thinking and how can I switch my narrative and stories around to get away from the evidence they're finding. So, I mean, again, this just shows how guilty she is that she's so consumed with the investigative aspects of this and what the prosecutor was seeing and interpreting.
Is this like fundamentally a part of healing to get into the shoes of the persecutor/prosecutor? Like,
see that again, persecutor/prosecutor. So here's Gwyneth Paltrow, who obviously knows nothing about this case, and she's going along with the PR narrative of demonizing the prosecutor who wasn't the lead prosecutor. It was another woman, I forget her name now, but they focused on Menini so heavily and demonized him in the media so much, and they're still doing it to this day. And it's just attacking this poor man for doing his job. And here's Gwyneth Paltrow doing it again, and this is a slap in the face to the Italian justice system, to the Italian prosecutors who's now retired, but also to the murder victim's family, Meredith Kercher's family.
did you start to understand how their perspective or how they arrived at this? And was this important to you in terms of your healing?
Yes. Yes. Because I never believed, ever, even while I was sitting in a prison cell, that there was just some evil.
See, if you were really innocent, you wouldn't be interested. You'd know they were wrong, right? But she knows that she's guilty, so she wants to know exactly what they have on her. Wow, I don't think that probably because all these this whole thing is scripted, so they're probably not. She's probably Meredith, excuse me. Gwyneth is probably not even going to ask about the murder victim's family. But I mean, look at this from the perspective of the murder victim's family and friends. That they're seeing the murderer being given a platform by a famous actress, Gwyneth Paltrow, who I believe lives in the UK. Um, just the fact that this murderer has gotten so prominent and powerful in the media to be interviewed by Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, look how far this murderer has gone. I mean, it's really, I don't think there's another murderer out there who's gone this far. Maybe Charles Manson. I don't know. But this is a very dangerous woman.
Prosecutor out there who was cackling away in his office about putting an innocent girl in jail.
Right.
You know, I never believed
That never happened. She's lying her ass off now and making crap up. She is such a liar.
that was the case.
I
knew
saw that
it was
you
more complex
had
than that.
said that, and I just thought, to be able to embrace that kind of humanity and complexity, even and not, because really what that's saying, like, is you're separating victimhood from your soul, yourself, your identity, right?
Sure, yeah.
So
I mean,
how at 20 years old, what was that like to arrive at that you weren't, that he wasn't evil, that he was mistaken? And how did you, let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, fortunately, unfortunately, I think I'm a very empathetic person. Like, I remember really.
She's empathetic. She was very kind in her murder. And the way she aggressively went after the prosecutor and the way she aggressively lies. She's empathetic, don't you know?
Really early on, even when the police were like really putting me through it. Like before my final interrogation, which was an utter violation of my human rights.
Which was the coercion.
Yes.
Which led to this last thing.
Lies, lies, lies. No coercion. She admitted to it. She was only one of a few people who were questioned. She was never tortured. She tries to make it sound like she had hours and hours of being. No, that's not the case at all. Most of the hours that everybody went through, the friends and family or whoever was there, was they were just sitting around waiting to be interviewed. But she put all the hours together and said, I was interviewed 50 something hours, which is a lie. She was sitting around perhaps waiting to be interviewed with dozens of other people. But she only got interviewed for a few hours in total over the span of 5 days.
Thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But like, even before I was like put through that like horrific violation of my human rights.
There was no horrific violation of human rights. She is so full of it. She did try to pursue that in the human rights courts because she is backed by powerful PR. But she's so full of crap here.
I noticed that the cops weren't exactly being kind to me. Like some of them were. There was definitely.
Oh, they weren't being kind to the murder suspects. How terrible.
A translator who really she would notice, for example, like after I was questioned for hours and hours and hours, she would be like, hey.
She was never questioned for hours and hours and hours. She's a liar.
Like, are you okay? Are you sleeping? Like, are you, like asking me that kind of, like just checking in. None of the cops ever did that. They were never checking in. But like, I also.
It's not their job. They're not your nanny.
Was trying to put myself in their shoes. And I was thinking, well, someone just murdered my friend. So of course they're not going to be.
No, they murdered Meredith Kercher and you two are not friends.
Be like, focused on the niceties. Like they have a job to do. Mm-hmm. And so like, if they're putting me through it, if they're just asking me the same questions over and over and over again, it's because they care about getting the person who hurt my friend.
The person didn't hurt, they murdered her. All right, so we're already about, how 22 minutes into this, and I'm already going on 45 minutes. It's getting very long. So I will finish the next part in another follow-up video. So if you got this far, thank you for listening, and take care. Bye-bye.